Hey, you Mexicans, welcome to episode 15 of WICSO Restarted, where today, um, Austria joined the Trapezoid Alliance. Yeah, let me explain. So, the whole ploy to get into Russia's, alliance was kind of just a ploy in the end, and, well, let's just say this. They really never liked Russia. They were really just playing buddy-buddy to betray them in the end. As that is kind of how the Austrians really like to go a lot of the time. Plus, Russia's like whole neo-authoritarian thing. They never really liked it. So now that they're away from that, they become a democracy, and yeah. So Russia's team is pretty much screwed here, since Austria betrayed them. So yeah. So let's first go. I guess we'll first go over to Vietnam, just cause should be really important to just do this. So Korea has been kind of reforming their empire ever since pretty well, and considering that they really just want Vietnam out of Chinese land, pretty much. They will pretty much push into Vietnam, taking over some major cities alongside this Taiwan area. Trapezoid members will send their equipment over into Vietnam. The Southeast Asian ones, anyway. They're helping. So all the brute of the far, a lot of the fighting will be done in South China, and mostly by Korea too. But meanwhile, Indonesia is looking to get the Strait of Malacca. They really want to get the Strait of Malacca for the economic power it gives them. So they push in, they take this over, and they push up into areas of Thailand too. Yeah, they're a formidable force, and as they go up into each city, they take over a lot of the South Vietnam stuff. And even go up into Myanmar. But they meet with the Persendian border, where they will help the Chinese pretty much take that over. But the Chinese not the Chinese, the Koreans will be taking over the rest of Vietnam. And so yeah, the first country to fall is Vietnam, as Vietnam against Korea wouldn't win, but Indonesia doesn't help their case either. And I mean, as for the Russian front, it's not gonna go much better. A lot of these areas used to be a part of Korea, so they're a lot more incentivized to take a lot of this stuff back. Plus, there's new opportunity over in this part of Siberia, so free land, right? And they take advantage. And considering that they take advantage, they will take over this chunk of Siberia for as much as they can, connect with here. And meanwhile, the Tibetan country, They have lands they would want to get back in this part too. So they push over, and yeah. The aim for the Trapezoid Alliance when this is all done is to pretty much just get rid of Russia from the world map. Like, pretty much forever. So, like, the Caspian forces will be pushing into Russia. They're the primary ones. The Austrian forces are also doing their thing. When this is all over, they'll get a bunch of land too. As their efforts will be appreciated. And their betrayal will be appreciated by the trapezoids anyway. Yeah, after the capital, Russia itself, like, the government collapses, and like a bunch of like militias pretty much like form, but a lot of this stuff, a lot of the forces here pretty much just fall to occupation of like the the invaders. Russia cannot come back, not in its current government, as well, that whole government pretty much just collapsed to through the brute of like this whole entire war. It collapsed like a dish rag. So all these countries pretty much take their occupation as the only ones that could sustain an occupation. Well, these countries can sustain this, and well, Russia's gone. Russia's thing is going to be gone in the peace treaty. But that's besides the point. The Timur Old Empire is going to be pushing out the Persendians. And well, let's just say the Persendians are not having a good time themselves. Yeah, really. You think this is only Old Empire, but it's actually also Caspian forces. Of course they're going to be handling this. But they head over to the capital of the Lime team and they pretty much take that over. After that, though, this whole entire country basically collapses, just like Russia did. And it'll all fall over to technically Old Empire occupation, but really it's just a color on the map. It's really just being shared between the Koreans, the Tibetans, and the Olympians and the Caspians. So yeah, anyway, the final star country over here is Greece. And well, Greece is not gonna win here. It's Farmers Union. Plus, I mean, you really need to stop trying, Greece. Yeah, you're just gonna fall back to the Farmers Union now. Anyway, with that being said, now I think those. Oh wait, dang it! How could I forget about the? Okay, I forgot about the the Catalonians and the Catalonians and the Trapezoid. I mean the Dutch. So I'll just go ahead and say it. They're screwed, and I mean most of this just gets pretty much manhandled by the Carthaginians. So but the Carthaginians have their own plan for Iberia, as they really just don't want to be in the peninsula anymore. So they're gonna set up some old countries back, along with getting Green France back. Or really, actually, no, they're pretty much just gonna give Iberia like a lot of like Andalusia pretty much over to Orange Iberia. all like Galicia will be brought back, I think. Basically, though, that's the end of Catalonia right now, and well, despite the fact that the Dutch were given land by the Austrians, just because like they didn't want the land, they're gonna be ultimately pushed back out, and this whole entire territory is gonna be broken up back into its former countries, at least for the most part. So yeah, with that being said, though, now we will look at the peace treaty. So in this peace treaty, we see that the Russians completely split apart as well, Russia remains in the capital and these cities, but that's pretty much it. As the whole country breaks up into the Estonian country getting independence, Finland getting a lot of land out of this, the remnants of like what the Polish country would have had, pretty much just residing in this area, and it's basically a new country anyway, so it's not even the same Poland. We see Austria getting the Prussian areas along with some stuff over here. We see that the Dutch break apart as Green France gets independence and gets all of its land that the Dutch originally had, along with the Brittany country getting now that land that they originally had. The Catalonians lose Green France and they pretty much get reverted back down to the former borders. So like Iberia gets its land back, and like also the Galician countries back, which reminds me, the African, like the Carthaginians pretty much give back their land to Iberia, like their Iberian land back to Orange Iberia. So yeah, the Dutch remain in this part, and they're forced to become a democracy. So yeah, along with that, the Catalonians go back to a democracy too. And the German country gets independence, but it has a little bit more extra land in this area. And yeah, it's also not in the same capital, it's instead here. But yeah, the German country is back to being independent. And the countries that were released in this war and got government reformations will all pretty much go to democracy. So like the Russian countries will get democracy, which reminds me. So it isn't just these countries that declared independence. It's also there's a dark red team in like this northern Arctic area, a pink team in this southern area, a seafoam green country like in this area of Siberia, and like they have their capital like near Lake Baikal. Tibet gets its former land back over here, and so does Korea. And along with that, Korea actually makes a puppet state, a Siberian puppet state. And well, it's bounded by treaty that the Siberian country over here joins the trapezoid team. Which reminds me. Vietnam loses a bunch of land as Indonesia takes over the Malaysian part over here. And Korea takes over good chunks of like the northern Vietnamese land of what they had over here. The Bengalis declare independence from India, and they pretty much take a good chunk of like Vietnam's land too. While like a Persian country will declare independence from India, from Persendia. And, well, they still exist, but they just remain over here in this, like basically just India. So they're really just India now. But yeah. Other than that, though. Oh, yeah, the Greek team. The Greek team, they really just went back on their Farmers Union control. They just don't exist anymore. And quite frankly, I kind of saw that coming. I mean, it's the Greek team. What do you expect? The Greek team will always end up losing to the Farmers Union unless new countries form up, which is very unlikely. But yeah, the Russian alliance is forced to disband, and really the only members that were originally in it that are left to speak of are Russia, which they are a shell of their former selves. The Dutch, definitely a shell of their former selves. Catalonia just reverted back to their old original borders. And yeah, that's all the. Oh yeah, Vietnam too. Vietnam's left. They're like pretty much reverted down to Southeast Asia. And in Persindia, they're still kind of strong. I mean, they still have India. India's pretty economically stable. I mean, they didn't really lose that much land. It's just the Bengali stuff in this part. Other than that, they're still like pretty survivable. They could probably recover pretty quickly, but Vietnam also could probably recover a bit quicker, but like the Dutch, not really. Catalonia is like kind of recoverable, and then like Russia, absolutely not. They've pretty much collapsed to the point where like they pretty much collapsed to this area, which yeah. Will they ever reunite though? Find out soon. Because if who knows if the old order of this will kind of remain. Because I mean the green team didn't really think about restricting any of these countries from ever deciding to reunite again. So that could happen at any point. Will it though? We will see. But anyway, now we should talk about specifically over here in Germany, Switzerland, and Italy. Well, the outlines of what they would what would be their countries. So you see, I don't like if you remember in Dimensional Rift, Germany, Switzerland, and Italy were the ones that pretty much saved that universe and all that, and saved the universe in like a Dimensional Rift. But the What series is developing into something else. I can't exactly say what. I'm going to upload this thing at the same time as episode 3, but basically, yeah, I'm uploading this at the same time as episode 3, like 30 minutes after, or 30 minutes, like, both of them, like, are going to be premiering at the same day, so you'll see why. I think What will go first, but basically there's some dimensional instability in this area as, well, you see, they like Germany, Switzerland, and Italy kind of have to be transported into a different universe until like Alex can fix things. So let's take a look at the like areas that'll be destabilized or be destable. So we're really starting to see the shapes of these countries start to arrive. All right. First up is Germany from the animated series. They will get all of their land up to, I believe, here. And yeah, they do. Welcome in Germany. Second up is the Swiss country, aka Switzerland. They're in here too. And third and final country, we have the Italians. They come in, take over their land, which is all of this. And yeah. Now, because of this, the Romans and the Germans will effectively basically collapse. As main source of territory has been taken away pretty much. So the Austrians will take what remains of this area, so they pretty much get all of Austria's panhandle. Meanwhile, the French and the Dutch will pretty much decide to split up the German territory over here. So like that part goes over to France, and then this part goes over to the Dutch. While this whole entire part pretty much just goes over to the French. So yeah, France intentionally accidentally has like the borders of France in the modern day. But yeah. So with Germany, Switzerland, and Italy now being in this universe, and of course they're going to have to add their capitals, since their cities don't port over due to them being static images for a long time. They don't exactly have their cities anymore. So they pretty much put it closest to where Berlin is. So like right there. Switzerland puts it over in this area, which I think pretty much would be their capital in real life, but they technically don't even have a capital. And then Italy remains in Rome, or this world's version of Rome. So yeah, anyway, countries are really just questioning what the hell just happened. And that's where we're going to end it off. Now, I'm going to point out something about these three countries that should be apparent. These three countries all have, like, magic. Now, no. The Caspian team's magic is a different magic. We're talking about, this magic, which pretty much inherits from my powers, so this magic, I could have said that this magic does anything, but I basically lied. This does like this one over here, it's strong, but it's not as powerful as the powers that I have, which ultimately these three inherited because of the fact that they can teleport and do anything now. So yeah. Anyway, with that being said, though, that's going to end this video as, well, look, Germany, Switzerland, and Italy have come over to our WICSO Restarted. This plot point will be apparent in all the other episodes. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a new video. Peace out.